Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will continue the exploration of this main Regent Peninsular highway, as that is exactly where I am standing, because I think the last video that I did, I started at this main Regent Motor Park, but I'll switch the camera around and show you guys exactly standing. So this is exactly where I'm standing. I'll just give you guys a 360 of the entire area, and then after that we'll continue with the video. So this is actually the entrance to a school. It is called Mountain Rural Secondary School. This is the gate and that is the school. The school is housed inside this compound, but we'll continue the video, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment, and we are off. So today's video is basically just try to show you guys this other side of the country, and just to show you guys exactly how rapidly developed this particular area has become over the years. As from this video you guys can see that this place was once a very huge forest, or it is an area that is very rich in natural vegetation, but over the years it is an area that has rapidly developed, and it is an area that has rapidly developed over the years, as you guys will see from this video. And I'll just try and capture as much as I can of this particular highway, and just try to show you guys how rapidly this area is developing over the years, as I am pretty sure that other more pricey and affluent areas of the country, I think this particular area is an example of exactly how those areas started, or how it gradually developed to where exactly it is right now. As an example I can give is that of the IMATs and the Swallow and other parts of the country. But I'll just pause there and try to give you guys a 360 of the houses on the hill. As you guys can tell, this is an area that is very rich in natural vegetation, and you guys can see some of the houses that have been recently constructed or that are under construction. As you can tell, that is a new construction over there. But we continue with the video, and I think this is also another new construction. As we go along, you guys will see exactly, as this is a new pharmacy that I think was recently constructed. I think this is also another new construction. As you guys can see, this area is rapidly developing, as if I can say in 5 to 10 years from now, all these empty or these vacant lots that are at this main road will be occupied by very huge buildings, as you guys can tell from some of the big buildings that are on the other side. And if I can say, I think this area will be more attractive than that of the IMAT community, because you guys will really tell the amount of houses that have been recently constructed or that are under construction at this particular side of the country. But I'll pause again and then try to give you guys another view of some of the houses that are on the hill. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. So it is an area that has various communities around it, and if I can mention some of the communities, I think from here, the Regent Park, I think there's a community called there's Bathurst, I think there is Leicester, there is the Mongeba community, and I think ultimately we have the Grafton community, which I think the video that I did of LHA community, I think that was where I stopped at the last time. But as we go along, I'll try to highlight some of these communities as it will be very, very difficult to individually pinpoint where one community starts and where exactly the other one ends. But as always, I'll just try and pause again and show you guys some of the houses or the distance we have covered. So that was the school that I was telling you guys about, the Fountain Rural Secondary School, which is in the distance. But I'll just try and give you guys a glimpse of some of the houses that are on the hill. So we continue with the video, and like I said, you guys can already see there are a lot of enterprises or a lot of upcoming businesses that are being built at this particular main Regent Peninsular Highway. And I think this is also another nice building. And talking about new construction, I think this is one. That is also another one, and another one, and another one, just to show you the amount of construction or the fast-paced developing that this area is undergoing at the moment. But we have a lot to see, as there is a lot to discover at this main Regent, Leicester, Jue or Bathurst Highway. So I think this is also, like I showed you guys, another new construction, which I think the downstairs is already operational. And I think this is a flower vendor. I think it's called Green Target Nursery. I think they deal in various types of plants. So we continue, and there is a cemetery that is close by. I think that is a photo. There is a cemetery that is very close by around the area, and if possible I'll just try and show you guys exactly where it is, and then try to continue with the video. So I'll pause here again and then try to give you guys a glimpse of exactly the distance we have covered. If you guys can see some of the houses on the hill. And one of the main reasons that I decided to do this video today is just to show you guys exactly how rich the vegetation of this particular side of the country is, and just showing you guys some of the houses or some of the areas that are on the hills, which will be very, very difficult for us to film. But that is the Leonco petroleum station, and we continue with the video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share to as many of your contacts as possible, and then we continue. So I think that is also another new construction. And we continue. So I've decided to come on this, to work on this other side, just at least to have, a balanced view of both sides of the road. As you guys already know, that is a new construction. I think this road is Daddle Street, as you guys can see, and I think there is a fruit vendor over there, as you guys can see. But so, like I was saying, this is the cemetery, the Regent cemetery area. As you guys can see, it's, if I can say, it's a very, very large cemetery, as I think it continues all the way. If you guys can see where that cotton tree is, it continues all the way there. But I'll just pause again and then try to show you guys exactly some of the houses on the hill, if we will not be able to film those particular areas as we progress with the video. So we continue, and bear with me guys, as always. This will be a very, very lengthy video, and I hope you guys are ready. And I think this is the entrance of the cemetery, but I think more needs to be done in securing this particular cemetery, as it is fenced, that is for sure, but the fence is not that high, as you guys can see, and I think it needs to be higher than it is particularly, or it needs to get higher than the present position where it is now, as you guys can see. So I'll just pause here again, give you another view of some of the houses that are at this particular side of the hill. And just to let you guys know, I am still at the Regent community. I am still here, as there are other communities which are located at this main road, but will not be able to explore them individually. So I think that you guys already know, that is why I am giving you guys a shot of some of the houses that are on the hill. And we continue with the video, so I'll just pause again and show you guys. As you guys can see, there are a lot of very, very nice and beautiful houses. As I initially told you guys, this is a very, very rapidly developing area. As you guys can tell, most of these houses that are at this main road, you guys can definitely tell that they were recently constructed. But we'll see as we go along. Still here and continuing with the video. So I think I'll pan the camera around that particular area so you guys can see exactly how extended or how beautiful some of these houses are. And I think the cemetery extends up to this point, as that is a graveyard. As you guys can see the houses. And just to give you guys another glimpse of some of the houses that are at this other side of the hill, at this main Regent Road or Regent Peninsular Highway. And I'm taking the camera back so you guys can see exactly the distance we've covered. So we continue with the video, and I think I'm also approaching another new construction. And I think at this particular area there needs to be a very, very huge drainage system that is supposed to be built, or a bridge that will connect, I think, if I can say that, this side of the road and the other residents that are at those other side, or at that other side. But I think most of the houses that are over there, I think there is an access road that leads individually to the houses or residences at that right hand side. So this is also another new construction, as you guys can see. Just like I told you guys, very, very huge houses that are being constructed at this main Regent highway. But we continue with the video, and as I can say, you guys can see that this area was once a very, very rich natural forest or a vegetation. I think this is a building material store and an enterprise. This particular area used to be a very, very huge and a rich natural forest, which I think that is slowly disappearing as time goes on and as new houses and construction continues to take place at this particular area. But all I can say is that there needs to be very, very large drainage systems at some of these areas around this particular community, as this particular Regent community, as these particular areas used to be very, very huge forest, and there were natural water sources around this particular area, and those water sources are still existing. And during the rainy season, it usually runs very, very, very rapidly with very, very high current, and the only way to safeguard some of these houses or some of these communities is for a bridge to be constructed at those particular natural water sources, or a drainage system to be built that will ease the flow of those natural water sources. So I'll stand here again and then try to take you guys back at the distance we have covered. So this is also another new construction, if I can say this, and I think that other one also, but I'll take you guys back if possible and just try to show you guys the distance we have covered as we go along. As you guys can see, the rich forest or vegetation at this particular Regent village highway. So we continue with the video. I think this is a board and stick shot. I think this one and this other one. Still here and continuing with the video. I think these guys are compound floor tiles manufacturers. As you guys can see, these tiles are for sale. And for sure I can say that most of the areas at this main highway, I think they are areas that belong to individuals. They are areas that belong to individuals, and I think this is also someone's land that I think he's trying to develop, but still here. And I think I am at the right side of filming because at this particular side that I'm walking on, I'm able to at least have a clear shot of both sides of the street. Still here and exploring this main Regent community. So like I was saying, I think this is an old bridge where I think it was constructed, I think, by the individuals that have houses at this particular area. As you guys can see, this is a way or the main entrance to, I think, some of the houses at this particular community, as you guys can see. But I think it is yet to be properly constructed. As you guys can see, it is still shaking, but the structure is, I think, is there. So if I can just stand here and have a zoom of some of the houses that are on the hill, just to give you guys a glimpse. So before we continue, so in talking about some of the drainage systems, this is exactly what I am talking about. As you guys can see, this is a very huge waterway that is usually flooded, or it usually has very high currents during the rainy season. And I think, just as you guys are seeing it, it goes all the way there, and I think it also continues all the way there. But as we continue or as we go along, I'll show you exactly. As it continues all the way, I'll show you exactly where it continues as we go along, as it does not stop only here, but still here, exploring this main Regent highway and enjoying its natural vegetation. So, and as for other amenities that are usually located at very rapidly growing communities, I think in terms of a wet market, if I can describe it, a wet market is somewhere where I think the prices of household cooking items are more reasonable than that of, say, supermarkets and other malls. There is none at this particular Regent village, if I can say that. So as you guys can see, the drainage system, it also continues here and it goes all the way. And just like I said, the residents of this particular area needs to have a bridge at some locations that will connect their communities, or that will connect their houses to this main road, as you guys can see. But I think there are gradually having bridges being built to connect some of the houses that they have. So this is the waterway that I showed you guys, and it continues all the way there. So I'll just try and zoom in again. Of course, that is also another construction. As you guys can see, the foundation still here, and of course that is a new construction, that, and also another one up there, as you guys can see. Let me just zoom in for you guys and show you guys exactly. So I think this particular side, I think the individuals that are constructing their houses, I think they are trying to carve out exactly an access road that will lead to their houses. But still here, And continuing with the video, and of course a billboard advertising one of our nation's telecoms provider, AfriCell. So I think this particular road, it leads to the Mosimbo community mountain view. As you guys can see, this is the way that leads all the way to the Mosimbo community. If I can just zoom in and show you some of the houses, but as we go along, I'll try and take you guys back and show you guys exactly where or how some of the houses that are at these other communities within the Regent community are still here. And this particular way, it leads to the Bathurst village, which is also another community within the Regent, or within this main Regent Jue highway. As I initially told you guys, there are a lot of another continuation of the waterway that I showed you guys. And I think if you guys can see, that is if I can say, the foundation of another bridge that is to be constructed, I think, to connect the inhabitants or the owners of these houses, just as you guys are seeing. And I think one of the difficulties that the inhabitants of this particular side will face will be that of a construction of an access road. And not only an access road, but this is if I can say, a friendly reminder. Some of the houses that are being constructed at this main highway, or the communities around this main highway, I mean, they need to make sure that they have enough or they have proper drainage systems that will have enough water flow in order for the water to have a way during the rainy season. And I think now that it is currently not the rainy season, you can still see the water moving, but not with a lot of current, as you guys can see. So the way that I showed you guys, it continues also here, the waterway, as you guys can see, it continues all the way there. And I think this is a bridge. And if I can also say, construction companies usually come to these particular areas, I mean, to fetch water that is usually used in construction, as you guys can see. If I can show you guys, as that is a generator that I think is pumping water to I think a tanker that is located on this other side. So as you guys can see, there are waterways all around this particular community. I'll just try and cross, or I'll just stand here and try to give you guys a glimpse of some of the some of these houses that are at this particular area, which I think is the Bathurst village. So just like I told you guys, as you guys can see, I think that is the Gentle Construction or the Gentle Group, one of other water bowsers. As you guys can see, water is presently being pumped into these tankers or these water bowsers that are parked. As this is also another huge house. But we continue with the video, still here and trying to capture as much as I can of this particular main Regent highway, as there is a lot to see at this particular main Regent highway. But still here. So I'll pause and then try to take the camera back and show you guys exactly the distance we have covered. Still here. And coming back to the topic of the waterways, and I think I am really advocating and or hoping that some of the individuals that have houses or that are constructing houses at this main Regent highway, I am really admonishing them to have better drainage systems. That is, if the houses or if the location of their land has waterways, or if the location of their land has a natural waterway that is usually flooded or that usually has very high levels of water during the rainy season. But all I can say is there needs to be a lot of drainage systems around this particular side of the country. As you guys can see, this area was once a very huge natural forest. As you guys can see, even this road that is located at this particular main road, I think this particular section, you guys can see exactly the hill, and I think the hill was carved in order to construct this road. As you guys can see, the hill. But still here. And I'll pause again and try to give you guys a glimpse of some of the communities or some of the houses, as you guys can see. And just, if I can say, there are already access roads that are being constructed or that are being carved out at some of the locations at this particular highway, as you guys can see. There is a lot of construction going on at this particular side of the country. And just to be specific, I think that is the Bathurst village, which is located at this main Regent highway. As you guys can see, most of these houses that are located at this main highway, if I can say, were recently constructed not long ago. But we continue with the video and hopefully try as much as possible and capture both sides. And I've crossed to the other side, as you guys have noticed. I've crossed to the other side of the road just to have a clear shot or glimpse of the natural vegetation at this particular main Regent highway. I'll just pan the camera at this particular location and then try to zoom in for you guys and hopefully take you guys to some of the locations or show you guys some of the houses that are within this or that are around this main highway. Still here. So that particular way, it leads to the Congo Dam and also the Takaguma Chimpanzee Park, or the Takaguma Nature Reserve is located inside this particular road. But we are still here continuing with the video, and if you guys can see, or as you guys can tell, most of these commercial vehicles, example the one that just passed, and they usually carry passengers from the Dre Park where I showed you guys the last time. That is where they usually park, and to collect passengers and bring them to Wilberforce, Lumley and other destinations. But they are not the only vehicles that usually carry passengers. I think there are also taxis and bikes as well. But I think for the more cheaper form of transportation, these Mercedes-Benz Sprinters are more reasonable than the taxis and the bikes. So still here, I'll just pause here and try to take you guys back and just give you guys a glimpse of this other side, the vegetation, and then ultimately take the camera back and just try to zoom in and show you guys the distance we have covered. So that is the sign of the way to the Congo Dam and the Chimpanzee Park, and of course some of the houses at the Bathurst village, as you guys can see from the shot. But we continue and still here, and as always, bear with me as we have a lot to see at this main Regent Dre Highway. And just to remind you guys, there are a lot of communities around this main highway, and of course some of the communities that are located at this main highway, just like I told you guys, I think we have the Regent community, which I think we've left behind, the Bathurst village, where I think we are presently at, and of course we'll as we go along we'll meet I think the Mongeba community and that of the Grafton community. But still here as we make progress, and I'll try my best and try to notice you guys exactly or when we reach at a particular or at a certain location. So if I can show you guys, so you guys can exactly see how the hill was carved in order to construct this particular highway. But still here, continuing with the exploration of this main highway. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share to as many of your contacts as possible. And thank you guys for the subscription and for supporting the channel. I think we have surpassed 500 subscribers and we are slowly getting to my desired goal for now, which is to attain at least 1,000 subscribers for now, because I think you guys are awesome and the channel will grow more than it is right now. But we continue, and just like I told you guys, and if I can predict exactly in 5 years all these walkways, because I think the difficulty that most of the inhabitants at this particular highway are facing is the means or the means and way to carve access roads that leads to their communities. But I think as the time goes by, I think they'll usually do that. So I think I'm approaching the Bathurst estate, as this is their sign. That is their sign, but I'll just try and show you guys exactly this other side, and just to show you guys the waterways. And if you guys can see, those pipes I think belongs to the Guma Valley Water Company, as I think there is a dam somewhere around here. I think if possible we'll be able to see it, but if not, we will not be able to see it. But I'll just try and show you guys exactly this other side. As you guys can see, waterways. And if you guys can see, I think that is an old bridge. That is an old bridge. But we continue just to give you guys a glimpse some of the houses that are on the hill and the natural vegetation of the hill, as you guys can see it. And this is also another angle. Still at Bathurst village. And I think this is the way, I think, that leads to the houses, or that leads to some of the communities that are located at this particular location, which is the Bathurst village. But still here and continuing with the video. But like I always say, this is a very, very rapidly growing area, as you guys can see. And in 5 years time, this area will be exactly identical to that of the IMAT community, and I am positively sure of that. But one thing I am advocating for is, as much as we are making progress in developing this particular side of the country by constructing very nice and beautiful houses, and I think care also needs to be taken in preserving the natural vegetation of this particular location, as we all know that in present years global warming has wreaked havoc on a lot of countries around the world, and days are getting hotter and nights are getting colder. But I just have to put this message out there. As you guys can see, this particular side of the country is one of, if I can say, one of the areas with the richest vegetation so far around the western rural area, as you guys can see, because I think this right hand side is the more preserved side, whilst this left hand side is the side that is slowly being expanded, or that is rapidly developing, as you guys can see. And if I can say, I think it will be very, very, very difficult to have a piece of land at this particular location, but I may be wrong, because since it is not everywhere that is if I can say, that is not free, but these main areas, or these areas that are towards this main highway, as you guys can tell, most of it is not available, as you guys can see. But again, I'll stand here, try and give you guys a shot of some of the communities that are around, or try to give you guys a shot of the Bathurst village, which I think is exactly where we are. I'll just try and zoom in for you guys, so at least we'll be able to capture some of the houses that are on the hill and the houses that are at the distance. And then of course taking you guys back to show you guys the distance we have covered. And then a view of the natural vegetation. So this is a bridge, as you guys can see.